Hi everybody, and welcome back to Hex Token channel. So we've got a really fun session on this one, Pulsechain again, and this is going to be just a fun chat, really, general chat about Pulsechain. We're just obviously waiting for the Pulsechain Sacrifice set up to be available to us all to basically sacrifice our tokens and coins in the heart and the hope and the hopium, as Richard Hart would say, of getting Pulse tokens. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Yay, more Pulse content since Alex K. Yeah, and this one's just a fun general chat. So we're going to have fun here. And Cardano TV locked on and loaded. Great to see you guys in the chat already. Very fun. And I hope we're going to have a good time as well. So really, this is the heart of it. A fun chat about Pulsechain. And just get some questions in there. We'll see what the community's got. Obviously, everyone's been watching Richard Hart's videos on Pulsechain, and the last one was a really, really fun one. So if you haven't seen that, check that out. Certainly, lots of stuff there going on. So lots of stuff. Alex K says, our moderator says, yeah, more Pulsechain, most content. Yeah, so really cool. And obviously, Cardano TV's in the house, locked on and are listening. So pretty awesome. Proof of humanity. Why make vids about Pulse when Axion won't be on Pulse? Hey, that's not really a big deal, is it? So we're all about Pulsechain. We're going to spread the love of Pulsechain and get into that. So anything value opportunity. This is not. We're not tribalistic here. So proof of humanity. If you're used to tribalistic cryptos, then you're welcome to go there. But of course, we are really open-minded here. So pretty cool. Damn it, I'm excited. Says Cardano TV. Absolutely. Hey, Chris, Michael, good to see you. Hey. Nice to see you there. And of course, Cardano TV. We've got a hex pool ready for the sacrifice. Awesome stuff. So people are definitely lined up for the sacrifice. It's going to be one of the biggest, if not the biggest event coming up in the next year for crypto land for sure. And now, obviously, if you're not new to Pulsechain, basically it's by founder Richard Hart, also the founder of Hex Token, and it's looking to basically fork Ethereum, basically clone Ethereum. But it's going to be supercharged. It's going to be a bit more like 4 times faster. So it's going to be awesome and super cheap gas fees as well. So it's going to be lots of stuff too. Chris Michael said, I heard Pulse launches in 45 to 60 days. I staked my Hex for 45 days. So I have more for the sacrifice, but I've got 6% in Axion stakes. Hey, well done, Chris, on the Axion stakes, of course. Now, Axion token is it does have a staking portal. You do earn a minimum 8% return in Axion, plus you get wrapped Bitcoin divs 4 times a week, and you also get Axion dividends 3 times a week. So we have auctions every day. That really makes us different from everyone else in the marketplace. It does certificate of deposit. We have auctions every day, so pretty awesome stuff. Alex K, just be careful, Chris Michael. Early sacrifice gives better value than late. That's probably going to be the case too. So really good point, Alex. Probably likely early and big is probably probably going to be the best gamification. We're waiting to see the final launch, of course, whether any tweaks or anything. But so far, that's what we know. It's probably bigger and early is going to be generally better. Also, Cardano too. We love Cardano, Axion, Hex, Pulse. All great projects. No gatekeepers on this channel. Love it. Yeah, this is an open-minded channel. No tribalism here. Obviously, Axion is the main content we have on this channel, but we have specialty videos just like this one here covering Pulsechain, and it's a huge opportunity for the community. Obviously, having a diversified portfolio is really important when you do investments. Not everything in just one bag, as it were. So very cool indeed. So I hope you're going to enjoy this open chat. And we're just going to have a bit of fun, really. So we're actually on here on the Hex price at the moment, and you can see the Hex USD. And man, it's just continuing to plow up as we expected on this channel. So pretty cool. It's up at 9.5 cents, and it's also approaching that 10-cent mark. You can see it's really consolidating up there. Let's go to Nomics. I hadn't pulled up Nomics, but let's pick that up. And obviously, Hex went to number 4. So Hex is kind of the golden child on the Pulsechain. And the reason why is because a lot of those tokens probably won't end up seeing when their sacrifice getting back on the market. So there's lots of gamifications around that. We're going to discuss some of those on the channel. But let's have a look where Hex is on anomics.com. It's number 4, 9.5 cents. Pretty awesome stuff. Up 5.3 in a sea of red. In a sea of red. Hex continues to plot its way, protecting your value as well. So a store of value, that's what certificates really help do with a share rate. They help protect the store of value. So Hex has got a share rate, Axion's got a share rate, and Wise has a share rate. And so they all help protect the value. And they obviously give you a diversified portfolio, and they all have different features and benefits to them. So very exciting. And you can see that the Richard Hart Hex token, which is the first deposit with a share rate, is up here looking strong at number 4 in the marketplace. Now, obviously, nomics.com doesn't gatekeep. CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap do the good old gatekeeping, which is not cool in crypto. That's supposed to be decentralized and open-minded in crypto. Obviously, we look out for different problem projects and we spread the word about those. But otherwise, you don't gatekeep. Especially Hex has been around since the 2nd of December 2019 when it was launched. So there we are, folks, standing strong. So people are pricing that up because the main thing in Pulsechain is the US dollar amount. The higher US dollar amount that you put in there, the better. So if you can influence a token and get that US dollar amount up, by the time sacrifice comes on, you're going to have even more US dollars in there and potentially get more Pulse tokens. Obviously, when you do the sacrifice, you're basically giving your tokens and coins away. You're not going to get those back, but you're supposed to expect nothing under the Howey test, and that's supposed to be it. But of course, on the other side, you're going to end up minting your own Pulse tokens based on the data set. So we're looking forward to that. All right, so let's quickly go some of the chat here. I think I probably got a little behind. So sacrifice starts at 45. Yeah. So I don't think it's going to be that quite sacrifice that late. I'm not aware of that at all. It's supposed to be imminent. The sacrifice is supposed to be imminent. So I'm not sure where you heard that from. If Hex price keeps going up to the sacrifice phase, then waiting longer might pay better. That's true. And Chris McPhail, Hex is similar and attracts a similar genre of investors. Being up to date with our niche is important. Absolutely, Chris, that's so right. So they're all certificate deposits. They're all garner long-term investors. Obviously, if you're in Hex, you're going to be chasing down T shares. If you're in Axion, you're going to be chasing out max share stakes, 15.2 years. And actually, Axion has a year longer. So if you think Hex is good at 5.6 years approximately, then Axion's or even higher, 6.5 at the moment. So it's doing pretty amazing. So it really does garner those long-term investors in crypto. And you're going to see that class of investors going to grow more and more, in my opinion, out of the crypto community. You have people, a certain amount going for the pump and dumpers. You have a certain amount trying to just get crit rich, don't know much about crypto, just trying to get crit rich. You have others that just don't know what they're doing. You have others that are chasing high yield APY yield farming on QuickSwap, Adamant, Viper, all those sort of things. So you've got lots of different type of investors in the marketplace. I mean, look, you had Mark Cuban, a billionaire, come in on Titan and that got rug pulled. You have lots of excitement as well. And so there's opportunities. There's also risks and rewards. So there we are, folks. That's how we roll in crypto land. All right, so Alex Case says McDonald's sacrifice can start any day, even tomorrow, today or tomorrow. Pulsechain. Pulse launch is a separate event. Yeah, that's right. So there's going to be 2 phases. The sacrifice phase, which is first, and that could be any day, Richard said in his last video. And we've got then after that the mainnet, which I expect to be no longer than 2 weeks afterwards, but it could be 30 days, but I expect it to be a closer cap so that you don't have that price volatility as much. And then we have that mainnet launch. That's my expectation. Not, we're waiting for official announcements on those, but that's the way it's going. So far the mainnet's actually been developing faster, apparently. That's the old phrase that sort of Richard's been pushing through. Pulse launch is separate from the sacrifice. Yes, so sacrifice phase is first, and then the mainnet afterwards. So the mainnet is going to go after the Pulse sacrifice. Sacrifice is where you're going to sacrifice your tokens to expect nothing under the Howey test, and then but in return you're going to get mint your own Pulse tokens, basically similar to the way Hex was launched in its 350 day launch. Chris says, I think sacrifice is before launch. It is correct. That is correct. And Alex says correct too. Yeah, we're all on the board there. We're up to, I think I'll say. Hey, Chris McDaniel, and sacrifice starts at 40 65 days. No, where did I get? I've seemed to be going back round in circles there with Chris McDaniel there. So no, the answer is no. All right, so yes, sacrifice 15, 30 days. Oh yes, so the length of the sacrifice is going to be something like 15 to 30 days. Originally it was 30 days plus 2 days calibration at the end, and then the third day after that was going to be the basically announcement of your your bags that you're going to get from Pulse. But it could be even shorter. Some people are speculating it could be much shorter, like 2 weeks, something like that. So we're waiting to find out on the final gamification. Canada TV says we're going in 25% on first day, 25% on set to day 2, 3, then watch for pumps to sacrifice the rest. Yeah, a lot of people might take that strategy. It's a good one there. Chris McDaniel says that's what I heard in a recent live stream from Richard Hart, I believe. Yeah, I'm not sure I've heard that, but maybe Alex may have heard that. I haven't. Cardano TV, not a bad plan, gives more flexibility. Yeah, and Fergal Carroll, awesome content, natural ability for the mic. Hey, I really appreciate that, Fergal. Much appreciated. A big shout back out to you there too. Alex K, Chris McDaniel, don't worry though, even if you miss the sacrifice with your stake, it will get copied to the Pulse chain. You have twice the hex. Yeah, so that's a beautiful thing. So even if you do nothing, even if you don't go into the sacrifice address to trying to get Pulse tokens, which are basically like the equivalent of Ethereum on the Ethereum network, that's why people want to get in there. They want to become Pulse whales of some sort, and getting in there early is really important. But on the other side of it, of course, is that you don't have to do anything. If you've got tokens on the Ethereum blockchain, they're going to get copied over to the Pulse chain. And it's an open letter whether Richard's going to do all the tokens or exclude a couple of the tokens. And so that's still in play. We have heard some comments to counter that. So we'll see what the final thing is. But ultimately, Pulse chain is a big opportunity for everybody on the ETH chain. You're going to get a copy over of pretty much all your tokens, if not most of them. And there we are. That's going to be awesome value. And then there's going to be price discovery on the Pulse chain. There's going to be liquidity pool opportunities. There's going to be all that sort of stuff going on there. And that's going to be pretty exciting, I think. It's another chance of getting into Hex at the beginning kind of thing. They're not the same, though. One's a blockchain that's going to be 4 times faster and cheaper fees than Ethereum. The other one is, of course, is going to be Hex is a certificate deposit with a high APY yield, and where T-shares get more expensive over time, those sort of things. So they are different. So that's the case. And obviously, if the sacrifice aside and doesn't take it out of the market, then you're looking at 5% going down to 4% or 3%. Who knows? We're going to wait and find out. But it's certainly going to take a lot of the liquid Hex off the market. And then I think with the culture of staking, we talked about investors types. A lot of people are trying to get more T-shares. Some people are even unstaking early to restake longer to get T-shares. So there is a big chase on. For those who are the investor class that like long-term investors, they want to chase those T-shares to have them lasting longer in the future, because eventually T-shares, after they go past the median point, will start declining very rapidly. And that's what you get paid out. That's how we represent payout, is the number of Hex that you get per T-share. At the moment, that's about 5.8 to 6 Hex per T-share at the moment for that. So that's the way that rolls. And obviously, the less people that are staked, there's about 9.7% staked in Hex, and the less that goes down. So you can see there's a big play in Hex, but obviously you can and for the sacrifice phase, you can sacrifice other tokens. It doesn't have to be Hex. You could have any other token that you can think of, but particularly ones that you can actually that you think the price will be influenced. You can go on that. All right, so Chris McDaniel said, yeah, sorry about the chat comments. I've got that the comments get announced on the video. I was having a separate conversation. Maybe we should have 2 different chats in the Fitted video. Yeah, lol. Yeah, this is an open chat, so feel free to just say what you want. I mean, it's no big deal. The other thing is that we do we have attracted a lot of people with these specialty topics. So we do covering basically Pulse chain. We're covering crypto generally. I haven't done enough of those yet. I'm going to do a lot more Bitcoin and other top 10 tokens and stuff like that, and especially good projects, stuff that I think I like Matic and other stuff like that. We're going to talk about that in other videos. But this one here is particularly focused on Pulse chain because it's going to come out anytime at the moment. I see that Hex has been going up. There's a bit of a little pullback here, back to 9.2 cents. So that's interesting as it just sort of tracks the way up. So it's going to be pretty cool. Some people expect the price of Hex to keep going over the whole phase, the sacrifice phase, maybe a little lull in between the main net, depends how long that is, of course, and then the main net. So it's going to be pretty game on. And that price discovery phase, once Pulse Chain launches, it's going to be pretty epic on every token, plus Pulse Chain itself. It's going to be pretty interesting times for sure. But I guess some people might try to time the bottom, sell, and then buy the bottom, and then hold it long term. That's kind of some strategies. There's lots of different stuff people are going to try and do. So it's pretty exciting stuff. But it does offer a lot of value at the moment. And you can see that obviously Hex is looking pretty good, still holding number 4 spot. 52.89 billion is what it's worth at the moment with the market cap. And as Richard always says, Richard Hart, that you know, the market cap's really you know, a glorified measure, because really the price can keep going up and up and up and up, and that happens a lot of times in private firms as well. So pretty awesome. All right, so let's quickly go through that. I think we've got the site here. Now, if you're not familiar with Pulsechain, we'll just quickly go through some of the main points. Obviously, it's going to increase Ethereum's value. This is the Pulsechain site. So I'll just post this in the chat. We're also going to look at a special launch that Axion's holding, and some of you may be interested in that as well. So we're going to look at that. So let's go into this. And Pulsechain. This is the Pulsechain website. And let's get into that. So yeah, Alex has got here. How long till P-Holes becomes more expensive than E-Hex? I think it's going to happen pretty fast, actually, in my view, Alex. So how long until a Pulse Hex, that's Hex on the Pulse chain, becomes more expensive than E-Hex? Well, if obviously Ethereum is Pulse chain is going to be super cheap fees, particularly for staking, then you would think that it's going to be a fairly short time between the price divergence. But I think I probably agree with Richard that both tokens will probably be a higher value, and he wants to see higher value on both chains. So that's the way I see it. And Cardano TV says up to the right. Yeah, absolutely up to the right. Yeah. On both chains, Cardano says, yep, reiterating what I just said. So Alex K, market cap is purely a vanity metric. Hex will take first place in market cap at some point, no doubt about that. I agree with that. And Axion token, here's the website to the Pulse chain for those that want to get familiar. That's the one we're looking at the moment. So basically, it's going to increase Ethereum's value. Enrich ETH users. Pulse chain will enable re-enable priced out use cases instead of launching empty. Pulse chain brings the entire Ethereum states. Everything that's on Ethereum pretty much going to get copied over. There is controversy about one or two other projects. We'll see whether that happens or not. There is some other side to that as well. This rewards holders and founders of Ethereum-based projects. It was going to enrich ERC20 and NFT holders. The launch of Pulsechain is the largest airdrop in history, which my previous video on Pulsechain, that was the title, the largest airdrop in history. So it's going to be pretty awesome opportunity. And so everyone should be talking about it, because I think it's a big deal. And I think as soon as congestion comes back onto the Ethereum blockchain, you could see those gas prices start to rise again. But it's nice to see the gas prices have pulled down on Ethereum down to like 10, 12 Gwei. That's been pretty good. So that does slightly weaken the use case, but not completely, because the S-load function is a big deal for looping and smart contracts. Okay, so enrich, it's going to, basically enrich those. Easy to use, of course. You can just use your MetaMask wallet. Lower Pulse chain fees and serve more users, which is what we said already. So Pulse chain increased the throughput of Ethereum by 4x, 4 times by using 3-second time blocks. Ethereum average block size is around 13. So it's going to be quite superior from that point of view. It's going to remove pollution, of course. It's going to serve proof of stake rather than proof of work. It's going to improve the game theory PLS, which is the Pulse token. It's going to have zero inflation. Validators only earn fees, and 25% of the fees are burnt to reduce the circulating supply. So that's very Pumpamentalish for the Pulse chain, Pulse token. So you can see why a lot of people are going to go into the chain, not just for the price discovery, but because of these some of the advantage there with the Pulse token. And obviously it's going to empower holders. Pulse chain's native token PLS can be staked and delegated to validators that reward the delegators with the large percentage of fees. So real incentive there. You can see why the sacrifice is going to be huge. And for early adopters, I think the upwards, it could be 10x, 100x, 1000x, 10,000x or more. Who knows? It's going to be pretty fun, and a lot of people are lining up for that. From millionaires to smaller investors, they're all going to try and get in and get them bagged themselves some Pulse. So pretty cool. So obviously at the moment, this is the latest update on the website, but it was basically the private testnet was up, and already the sacrifice must be very well advanced to the point that it must be pretty imminent to launch the sacrifice phase, which is phase 1. There's obviously going to be bridging and liquidity aspects to it. Trading aspects, is going to be a copy of Uniswap come over as well, and there'll be bridges between the Ethereum and the Pulse chain, and obviously other bridges that do second layer, like Matic and all that sort of stuff, will come as well. So it's going to be actually quite a boom, what we call a gold rush, getting in on this Pulse chain, and it's going to be pretty awesome stuff. All right, so that's pretty much the website. You've seen that. We've had a look at a bit of the price pressure that we're getting here on the Hex, which is really the golden child out of all that. And you can see we've got buying and selling, but it's slowly moving up, tracking up there. And what else we got? We got obviously Hex still holding at number 4 there. Not too bad. All right, let's quickly, let's quickly check the chat before we get on to another specialty topic. So I think Hex is all about long-term staking ladder, unlike Axion, which rewards max duration stakers with generous liquid divs. That's right. That's a nice contrast there, Alex well said, and really good to see that. What else we got? Also, both complement each other, in my opinion. That's right. And so we're all about having a balanced portfolio of investments, and some of the better ones are the certificate of deposits. That's why we often talk about Hex, Pulse, and Wise offering all the innovations, having the best security, particularly in a bear market, because that you're getting interest and dividends during the bear markets. So that's really cool too. Plus, they all have share rates, which put supply pressure on supply. And APY yield, so pretty neat in that. Alex K says, is possible Richard Hart trying to time the market with the Sacrifice launch? I believe so, and I've mentioned that several times in the previous Pulse videos as well. You can watch all those on this channel in the Pulsechain folder. We've got a special folder for this because it's such a big deal. Yeah, definitely, he's made that several comments that he would like to see a boom. You know, he'd like to see a Bitcoin over 42, then up to 55. And I think that's when he wants to launch it, when it's the most valuable, because the higher the value in the market, the more valuable Pulse will get priced out immediately. So pretty awesome on that. And it's more leverage for the Sacrifice address to do stuff too with the non-Hex tokens as well. So stuff like that. Hey, Vance Orsonet, do we know when the Hex Sacrifice stage is? It's a pretty imminent. Is our thing. It's pretty. The video that Richard did in the last 24 hours, just basically indicating once again it's pretty soon. You don't know when. It could be tomorrow. It could be the next day. He sort of said. So it is pretty soon. Yeah, so Alex Case says, my guess would be either before Wednesday or the week after next. Yeah, so it has been delayed many weeks already in a row. It has been delayed many weeks. So we're probably, I think we're in about week 4 now. I think we're in about week 4 now, so it is being delayed, but it is getting pretty close. So. But I think Hex might delay it, as Alex saying, to get better timing with the market, especially with the market pulling back today. You probably wouldn't want to get in there because you can see with Bitcoin at 35, Bitcoin was up at 40. What was it, a day and a half ago or something? So you look, and you got Ethereum down at the bottom of that trading range. It's been trading between 2.2 and 2.9. So you probably want to wait till that goes up, I would say. So that's a really good comment though. And Alex says, okay, events, okay, I'm really keen for it. Yeah, I think it's going to be a big opportunity, the biggest actually in the marketplace, especially for price discovery. And I think people that get on, it's like getting onto Ethereum early. And obviously with Hex, Richard's got a pretty good proven track record. Now, obviously Telegram is through the roof in terms of Pulsechain Telegram, way bigger than Hex, I believe. So it's going to be pretty huge. We don't know. We're going to get 30,000 people into the Sacrifice. We're going to get more. We're going to get 100,000. Who knows? It's going to be pretty big, nevertheless. So it's going to be pretty exciting. Now, obviously, you need to do your due diligence. You need to learn as much as possible about it. Hopefully this channel has helped you just talk about a few things, particularly the other videos. Today's chat's really more a lighthearted chat, but you can check out a lot of the previous videos we did. Yeah, it's over 20,000 people in Pulse Telegram already, so it's going to be pretty aped in. I'm expecting way above 30,000 is what I'm expecting, but we'll see what the ultimate number is. It's going to be pretty big. I'm kind of surprised there's so much interest, says Alex. Yeah, I just think that it's because it's a copy of the Ethereum blockchain, and there's actually not a lot happening outside yield farming. I don't think there's a lot happening with the high rewards in the market. So and people are getting a bit tired of the old 24-hour DApps, hourglasses and the rest of it. So I think that they're after the big fish, and the big fish this year, from my point of view, is Pulsechain. From that point of view, if you're wanting to get one of those, trying to capture one of those big 1,000 X's or 1,000 X's or whatever you call it. And Alex K says E2.0 got delayed again. Yeah, it's delayed as well. I thought that Vitalik said it's actually going to be really late. So it's not even going to be in the medium phase now. So watch out for that. I didn't actually see the latest team developers session. So that's probably the case. Hey, the other thing is, of course, let's just we're going to just have a little intermission here. And we're going to talk about something that Axion's actually got on that some of you might be interested in, that are also looking out at crypto opportunities. We've got at the moment we've got a Vabble airdrop, which is part of a Vabble IDO and pre-sale for Axion Max Share and stakeholders, but it's actually opened up a Vabble airdrop to pretty much everybody that wants to get in there. So if you want to get access to that, Vabble is going to be a streaming platform. It's going to launch its alpha platform in the beginning of maybe Q1 2022, with its beta at the end of 22, with a go live in 23, maybe late 23, something like that. It's going to be pretty awesome. They're going to look for a 3.5% market share, and they've got quite a few things. You can actually see, we did videos yesterday on Vabble if you want to look more into detail on the actual platform. But in the meantime, they've actually got $84,000 worth of VAB, and this is launching on the 24th of June. So it could get priced up quite nicely in the market. Obviously not investment advice, but certainly an opportunity to do due diligence on. So Vabble VAB token is going to launch on the 24th of June. It'll be interesting to see how that gets priced in, and it's going to be airdrop to participants, and there's 5.25 million VAB, and it's going to, the issue price is going to be 0.16, so 1.6 cents US on that. Now the requirements to get in on that, of course, to a new purchase of 1 million Axion on Uniswap. So if you want to get into that, all you have to do is get 1 million Axion on Uniswap after the June the 16th at 7 p.m. UTC time. So that's really the only entrance, and then you just have to stake that 1 million Axion for at least 350 days, which is pretty nice. So you can do a sort of a medium-term stake, 1 million Axion for that. You just buy it on Uniswap, and you can see that actually on here. You can actually go to Axion on Uniswap here, and if you want to get into that, you can check that out on here. Axion buy on Uniswap. So we'll just paste that, and so it looks like a pretty exciting platform. It's going to obviously be up against companies like Netflix and stuff like that, but you can actually buy it on Uniswap, and this is the actual basically idea. So and you have to purchase $100 of VAB tokens, which is going to launch on the 24th of June. Between that and the July the 1st. So all you need is provide evidence of those two purchases, and you'll be able to participate in this airdrop, which is pretty nice. You also have to fill out a Google form posting links to the two transactions, which is basically the two purchases that you make, one of Axion and one of VAB. And then the airdrop will happen around the 2nd of July. So that might be something that you might want to look at. Pretty easy. Plus you get dividends in Axion and Bitcoin every day you've got your stake. So that's going to be 350 days worth of dividends, as well as 8% per annum on the Axion. So pretty nice. And plus you pick up a little bag of VAB. So that's pretty cool. Now VAB is obviously going to be a big streaming service. And it's going to have subscription and pay-per-view. It's also going to do a lot of independent filmmakers, indie stuff like that, and you're going to be able to co-host it. Means that you can have like family around the world watch a movie together, no matter where you are. Even order food, can you believe it? Or even order food from where you are. So that's going to be in the making over the next, say, 2 years as they develop and get that launched up. But you can check that out as well. I'll just actually bring up that in a moment. So it's really just a nice little opportunity. Potentially, this platform could do quite well. So there it is, Vabble. So you can check that out. And we've got YouTube channels as well. So we'll just post that one there. And there's the website there if you want to check more out about that. And I'll just post also the link actually is going to be available here. So you can actually just check this out on the Axion support page. And Vabble airdrop. So check that out. I think that'd be a nice opportunity. So that's really just an intermission promotion there. So get onto that one if you'd like. All right, let's jump out of that and move back to the topic at hand, which is the Pulsechain. And let's see what else comments we've got in the chat there. Might get some interesting stuff there. Alex Case, I don't understand why it's so slow and painful with a 2.0. I think it must be tricky to merge existing chains with the new one seamlessly. You would think so, eh? They've got obviously all the sharding to do, and that's supposed to be in stages, and then they're supposed to dock ETH.1 1.0 with ETH.2. But I guess the old change is a lot more difficult to make that happen. You think about how many smart contracts and everything else on there. So it's obviously very difficult. I'm not going to pretend that I would be able to do what their team's doing. They're loaded full of top mathematicians and programmers. So yeah, so if you want to buy Axion on Uniswap, you get involved in this Vabble streaming service platform that's coming up in the next year or two. It's launching on June the 24th, so you can get in on that, buy Axion on Uniswap. Also, the Cardano says Cardano took 3 years to get ready for Shelley mainnet, so 2 years is not a long time when billions of dollars had to be secured on the chain without bugs. That's true. So 2 years is really the minimum. It might be 3 years by the time they actually get up launching. So that's true. Oh, you're talking about the ETH chain, yeah. Alex says, I like this drop, but have been bitten more than once with buying promise coins that are funding long way up before launch. Yeah, that's why it's very clear to make sure that you know that the time frame for the launch of Vabble, is 2 to 3 years at the minimum. So just take that into account. They're doing a big capital raise at the moment through 4 different IDOs. Axion's one of them. But there is an airdrop there, so if you want to entertain a year stake with Axion, which is pretty good, and you want to get in some of that Vabble streaming service, buy some of those tokens. You can even play it for the short term. It's up to you what you want to do, short or long. All right, yeah, there's the website. We went through that one. Alex K says, yeah, that's one of the reasons I never got into ADA. It's a good project, but needs a lot of patience. Yeah, but apparently it's coming near fruition, isn't it? It's almost there, ADA, about to launch these smart contracts, revolutionary, of course. So, yeah. And of course, there's the Vabble airdrop link if you want to get that. So B Little, I read there are issues keeping ETH 2.0 zero devs on the same page and fighting. Yeah, that's a big problem too. B Little, good point. Boy, so you see the dev meetings online. They do it, I think, once a week or fortnightly, and yeah, that's seems quite a slow process. Hopefully, they all know what they're talking about and not talking over each other or past each other. The delay of ETH 2.0 should help Pulse. Definitely, I think that's a real booster for Pulse, and that's why I said dreams may come true, right? Because you're obviously going to have 4 times through fast put, 4 times faster throughput. You're going to have cheaper fees, very cheap, and also a lot of new projects will jump onto Pulse too. So it's going to be fun, and of course, with the ETH 2.0 taking so long, it makes the use case for Pulse able to grow and get big enough to be real strong. So I think that's good to know. And Alex K says, good to know. Absolutely, that was a good comment there, B Little. Cardano TV, I think the tech side and rights clearance side of Vabble is going to inhibit the rollout of the roadmap. I stupidly invested in HYPRR, and they've had major problems keeping to the roadmap. Yeah, that's what my biggest thing was, keeping to the roadmap. That's the biggest thing. Now, the one thing he did say, they had Punkonomics live stream AMA today, and you could check that out as well. Actually, it's on the notifications on this channel if you want to check that out. They have the interview with the CEO and the CTO. Now, one thing that they mentioned straight up, which I was really impressed was that James, CEO, said that they were going to, the time frame was the number one thing they wanted to keep to pretty much. He came with that out straight out of the gate. So I thought that was a positive comment, because time frames are the hardest thing to keep, especially in development. Yeah, that was thing. But yeah, realistic. Got to be realistic onto them. Obviously, they're going to need some governance, project management, oversight, stuff like that. They are increasing the number of staff. I think they've got, I think they had 6 or 8 core staff, and plus a few others around them. But they were actually going to be hiring as part of the capital as well, raising. So, but it is pretty. They've got to get that up and running, of course. And I think that probably the biggest thing, like you say, tax and rights clearance, is going to be. They are going to start with a lot of indie stuff, a lot of Canadian stuff as well. So that's interesting. Anyway, you can check out the video if you've got videos on this channel on Vabble if you want to look into more detail, or you can just play the short game on Vabble. It's up to you. Alex here. Speaking of ETH, they are supposed to launch testnet with EIP 559 next week or so. Yeah, that's right. So that's going to be fun to see that play out as well. And that was going to have some change to the investment as well. Cardano TV says, I won't be investing in Vabble, but welcome any airdrop to my wallet. Yeah, well, that's true. So you might have you saw the airdrop conditions. We just went through those. So it was something for probably not for maybe for Cardano, but if you're for somebody else that might be wanting to pick up a million Axion stake for 350 days and on a Uniswap, and also pick up $100 of VAB tokens on the market and get that sweet airdrop afterwards. So that'd be something you can consider as an opportunity. I actually think it's going to get priced up pretty strongly on the open, so we'll see where that leads. Often they do platforms like that. So likewise, or maybe a small long-term bet with no expectations. Yeah, that's probably a reasonable one to go to there, Alex. All right, so that's pretty nice stuff there. So we're looking at that. Boom. All right, so let's jump back to we've got Hex, so obviously still being priced up there on that one, and it's going to be interesting to see how we go with that over the next 24 hours. I have a feeling it's going to try and go over 10 cents, and that's going to be interesting times. But if we go back to the market, of course, we've got Bitcoin and Ethereum just at the bottom of the ranges there. We'll see where they're doing, where they're going to. Hopefully Ethereum will not go under 2,000. That's not great. If that did, or Bitcoin going under 30, that would not be cool, and stuff like that. But let's actually quickly jump. Just quickly check Telegraph, see if there's any news on there. I know that Mark Cuban, which got done over in the Titan, well, at least partially, he started calling for stable coins after he got burned out there in the Iron Finance bank run, which obviously wasn't set up correctly to be able to be the price to go to $60 to zero. So we'll see how that plays out at the moment. But he did do a little bit of a crybaby thing, and he admitted he didn't do any due diligence really. He didn't, which is kind of funny. But here's something else that's pretty interesting. Goldman Sachs divided over whether Bitcoin is an investable asset. Obviously, Goldman Sachs always says that, so we just ignore Goldman Sachs because they played both sides of the market, the public side and the private side. So just gotta be careful with those guys. DeFi focus, Grayscale exploring 30 more crypto assets for its trust. That was pretty interesting. And obviously Shiba Coin got in, unbelievable. Shiba Coin got in, the meme coin, and that's going to keep it alive, I think. Getting on to being explored. Sorry, not on Grayscale. Sorry, Grayscale's exploring some others. Let's have a quick. I think they've. I was talking about was it Coinbase has got Shiba on there compared to heaps of other tokens that have been around much longer and earned their right, and Shiba just got in there. It's just amazing what people do sometimes. But Grayscale, the big investing firm, they've got this. They're picking up this. They're looking at 13 more tokens. I think this is a little dated, February 26, but you can see 1-inch Bancor, other ones under Vescat Loopring. So interesting. Some of the ones they've got there. Polygon, obviously, which we like on this channel. Monero, Loopring, and what else? They got Compound. So a lot of the DeFi, US dollar leverage stuff, lending stuff, Aave, 1-inch exchange. What else? Yen Finance. A lot of that DeFi lending stuff. Uniswap, obviously. Yeah, and at the moment they've got BAT, Bitcoin Cash, Chainlink, Decentraland, Ethereum. What else? No ADA in here. No ADA. Oh yeah, Cardano's in there. So we'll see whether that gets picked up. So they got these in bold, so I'm not sure what those are reflecting, but interesting stuff there. And we'll go back on that one. And what else we got in the headlines there? Economist says El Salvador on the death road. And then digital land on Decentraland sells for $913,000. Wow. Can you believe it? Decentraland sells a land. So that's actually starting to work, where people are actually willing to pay almost $1 million for a piece of virtual land. Mind-blowing stuff, folks. Mind-blowing. So yeah, let's go back to the chat. Let's see what else is going on there. Yeah, so that's that. So chat's gone a bit quiet, so that's okay. So here, yeah, this is where we're at the moment. Where we've got still waiting for imminent launch of the Pulsechain Phase 1 Sacrifice, and then obviously followed after that will be buying the mainnet. And Richard's basic latest video could be any day now, but obviously with the market pulled back like this, I feel he'll probably delay it as Alex sort of discussed earlier. So we'll just have to wait. We're just waiting to see, really. Now, once again, if you want to get on to the way to get to the official Telegram, you can go on to pulsechain.com, go to the open Telegram link, and you can join up to the official Telegram and get into there. They'll have the latest messages. They also have all the old information that's posted to the pinned messages at the top. Always make sure you get the official sites. Don't take anybody else's link. Just make sure you get into the official sites. Because when sacrifice a page, there'll be a website probably you have to launch on, select the tokens that you want to sacrifice, and you'll get addresses for that. So you just need to make sure that they're 100% right. There's going to be a lot of scammers. They're already out and about, and we just want you to protect your precious crypto and get the most out of this exciting opportunity in Pulsechain. Once again, read up all the stuff. Do your due diligence. Don't just speculate or gamble on it. Just make sure that you read up as much as you can and find some knowledgeable knowledgeable places to learn information about it. But it will be quite simple at the end of the day. Probably just be a website with sacrifice addresses, and you basically hook up your MetaMask wallet and then get the right have your basically have your tokens lined up in US dollars. US dollar amount's really the key. How much you basically say, do I want to put 2,000 into it? Want to put 500? Do I want to put 10,000? Whatever you get to decide, and just have that lined up in whatever tokens that you're willing to have that value made up of. Yeah, so pretty awesome stuff. I think it's going to be really fun times for that as well. So nice. All right, let's quickly go back to the chat. We've got Alex in there. With decentralized NFTs, you have to watch out for people selling to themselves to create high price. That's true. That's a good observation, Alex. And I'm staying away from all that. Yeah. Well, I could have gotten Decentraland a while ago, but I actually registered and everything, but I was just like, I couldn't actually get myself to actually buy some digital land. But some people like that. It's a bit like gaming. So if you're really into the gaming, you'll be interested in that. You build up asset values. I can understand the logic of it. It just felt hard for me to do that. And it's just like anything, location as well. And I guess that's why someone paid that much money. Pretty hilarious. All right, so looks like we'll see if Hex goes over 10 cents over the weekend. It's kind of expecting that based on the chart, but we'll see. It was certainly going up there earlier. Now it's just a slight pullback there, 9.2 cents. We'll see. That's kind of the golden goose in there for sure. And it's going to be interesting to see how much liquidity is there after the sacrifice phase and what happens with the price. There's lots of fun stuff to come up, and we're going to see what happens there. But yeah, the market's pretty certainly pulled back today. The gas prices are still relatively low, 10 to 20 gwei. And lots going on there. So let's have a quick bit more look on here. So we've got this. I did see. I was hoping that we'd have. We actually might look a bit closer to this Mark Cuban story because I thought it was quite entertaining with Titan and stuff like that. I had some Titan myself, but I actually sold it near. I made a little profit out of it, but I didn't sell it at far from the top. But Mark Cuban calls for stable regulation in wake of iron finance bank run. And basically that's what happened. But then obviously we scroll down, and he got really dealt to by a lot of the people in the crypto. Why is it every time we win an influencer, they turn around and go full whack? Cuban went degen to let's have US smart contracts regulated from anonymous devs, and then Elon went from B2C is money to environment nightmare. All we have left is Toby, and he just verified as BitClout or something like that. So there's some huge stuff though. Then you had the Kraken CEO of all people chimed in and said basically slammed Cuban on Twitter, highlighting the lack of stable regulation is not the problem. Not doing your own research and YOLOing into a terrible investment because your time was worth more than your money is your problem. That's really clever phraseology there. So pretty hilarious stuff there, and so forth. So there's a lot of high drama. If you were on any of the quick swap or Adamant or anywhere like that, it was pretty high drama stuff for sure, and lessons learned for sure on that one. All right, let's see how we're going. And Alex says gamified gambling. Yeah, that's right. And not Vane Oints. Not sure if you've covered it, but what is your plan for the Pulsechain sacrifice? If you don't mind answering, what will you sacrifice if you do? Okay, so I'm going to be sacrificing probably Hex and maybe some USDC if that's there. So I'm going to probably be doing that. Plus, I'm going in with a few others that which all trusted associates, and so we're going to try and get the higher US dollar value that way. So that's my particular strategy. Now I do know others that are doing two-thirds of Hex to Pulse, just like Richard suggested, and 1/3 keeping his Hex and maybe even get the free carry on the price. A lot of them have got in quite early already, of course, much cheaper than the price at the moment, but that's what's driving the price up. Obviously, Hex going to benefit pretty strongly out of that. And then when the snapshot, don't forget there's a snapshot, and that's likely that the sacrifice dress will end up holding all that Hex that gets sacrificed, and that's before the mainnet. So lots of stuff coming up there for that. So I hope that helps, Vane, on that one. And Oh yeah, going in early and large is probably the case. I saw that Cardano said doing day 1, 2, and 3. Might do that something. Might do that too on the day. Just depends when the launch happens. You always, sometimes you always change your mind a little bit. So but you do have pretty much 24 hours in that first day. So we'll think about it then. But I think that's probably the case. Is probably go on maybe day 1, 2, and 3. That kind of sounds fair. But we may just go on day 1. We'll just wait and see at the time. But certainly early is probably when you all go in. But once we're waiting for the final gamifications and see how much that holds up. Because originally there was like a 7-day period. Then there was going to be 4.25 cost price upwards for the following day. We're just going to wait and see whether that's still in place by the time it launches. Don't forget also on the Pulsechain there's going to be some secret source. We'll wait and find out what that's going to be as well. I haven't heard anything about that, so if anyone else is in the chat's heard what that might be, let us know in the chat. The good old Richard Hart secret source. Alex Casey says also need more info on bonuses for size. Yeah, that's the other thing too. So Alex made a good point. Is what are the bonuses going to be? That's what I'm saying. Kind of got to wait until it really launches now, because I guess it's probably part of the plan is to starve us of information a little bit, and then when we get there, it's all FOMO, right? With Hex size bonus small enough to not matter too much. That's true. So yeah. All right. That's where we're at. How are we doing? 46 minutes. So we're probably going to end the live stream now. I'm going to be doing a auction live stream for Axion. You're welcome to join us for that. It's a lot of fun. We see how much ETH goes in at the end of the venture capital auction, which is the big auction, and then we start up a new auction. Well, actually today we've got a back-to-back auction, so 2 big back-to-back auctions at the moment. So you can welcome to join me for that, and that's in a couple of hours' time. It's probably about 2.5, 3 hours away. So it's going to be a lot of fun as well. And obviously Alex, our moderator, very knowledgeable moderator, will be back in the chat with a lot of our good friends online. So you can welcome to join us back. But thanks for joining us for this just fun, free talk around for Pulsechain. It's going to be super fun. I'm pretty stoked about it and looking forward to it. So thanks for watching, everybody. I'm just going to sign out now and catch me in a couple of hours. We're going to do our daily auction live stream. It's going to be pretty epic. Cheers. See you guys in a couple of hours.